Highlight Africa is all about the biggest stories in Africa, and we are doing a part 2, basically about democracy, basically about our presidents. Why should African presidents always feel the need to extend their term? Why is it that it never happens like that overseas? Why is it that once you give somebody 5 years, another 5 years, all of a sudden it ends up being 20 years? That is our topic. Africa is all about the biggest stories in Africa, and we are doing a part 2, basically about democracy, basically about our presidents. Why should African presidents always feel the need to extend their term? Why is it that it never happens like that overseas? Why is it that once you give somebody 5 years, another 5 years, all of a sudden it ends up being 20 years? That is our topic.
So we are trying to get some money into your pockets. All you have to do to stand a chance to walk away with said money is just follow some very simple instructions. Believe me, if these were the instructions for getting into heaven, because it is very, very easy. All you have to do is dial *770*2#. It will only cost you 5 kwacha per ticket in the Sky Cash drop. But obviously, because this is a raffle, we are asking that you make as many tickets as possible, because it is literally you versus the rest of Zambia. So that is *770*2#. And also, if you want to get in touch with us, 0966-100-885, alternatively 0777-885-885. This little show we run over here is called Sky Drive. I go by name Critic.
The name I was given is what?
The name you are given. Stemming from recurring unverified social media viral posts on platforms like Facebook. Pages frequently post sensational captions such as, "A python snake has just swallowed a baby in Wapula province, Zambia," usually accompanied by shock emojis or generic photos to generate clicks and shares. So local authorities, mainstream Zambian news outlets, and the Zambian snakes and other crawlies wildlife community have neither confirmed or documented such an incident in the region. So it looked like it may have been some fake news that was circulating on our social media platforms yesterday.
Absolutely fake news circulating on that. Yeah. At least for now, it's not really
these things are a bit commonplace, though, aren't they? Especially in the outskirts, places where
next around. And so when these people were visiting, they were not scared because these are things that are used to seeing. They actually even helped kill like a couple of them. Yeah.
Are you afraid of snakes?
Absolutely.
I am so afraid of snakes. I am so afraid of snakes. So here's a little bit of wildlife reality. Python is native to Zambia. It is a non-venomous constrictor. While large pythons are physically capable of targeting small mammals, verified attacks on humans anywhere in the world are extraordinarily rare. Okay? So actual reported reptile dangers in Luapula's water bodies typically involve crocodiles, such as recorded in the past, and also pythons in the Lake Bangwauru areas like Chembe district have occasionally caused panic among residents, but their impact is usually limited to livestock threat rumors rather than human casualties. So it looks like, even as scary as they seem, usually they stick to animals, wildlife. That's usually what they're. It's rarely human beings.
Absolutely, they're not even a snake around my neck.
Ooh, you can go to our reptile park, right? Just on the outskirts.
Good morning, Zambia. You are listening to Sky FM, the People's Radio. The time is 11:28, and this is the transition. Now it is time for Highlight Africa, where we take a closer look at stories shaping our continent. Today's focus takes us into Zimbabwe, where Parliament has passed a controversial constitutional amendment bill that could allow the president of Zimbabwe to remain in office until 2030. Now, the bill proposes that extending presidential terms from 5 years to 7 years and postponing elections that were scheduled for 2028. It also includes proposals that could shift presidential elections from a direct vote by citizens to a vote conducted through parliament. Now, that is a bit scary when we think of the term democracy, okay? The legislation passed Zimbabwe's lower house with a required 2/3 majority and is expected to move through the next stages of the legislative process. Supporters argue that longer terms provide stability and allow government enough time to implement long-term development plans. Critics, however, warn that extending presidential terms can weaken democratic accountability and concentrate too much power in the hands of one leader. And that's the thing. When it comes to democracy, how does this actually work? How is it that a president can stay in term 20 years, 30 years? How? It really doesn't make sense. But this is what we are talking about today on Highlight Africa. This development has sparked debate, not only in Zimbabwe, but across Africa and here in Zambia as well. How long should a president stay in term? And the most important question is, should African leaders be allowed to extend their time in office through constitutional amendments, or are term limits essential for protecting democracy? And personally, that's what I think. That's my opinion. I personally think that term limits are essential for protecting democracy. But I want to hear from you, the listeners, on 0966100885. Should African leaders be allowed to extend their time in office through constitutional amendments, or are term limits essential for protecting democracy? Good morning, Zambia. My name is Zoe Peters, and I host The Transition every Monday to Friday on Sky FM, the People's Radio, from 9 a.m. until 12 in the afternoon. Now, I'm here to introduce a new segment called Highlight Africa. Africa is full of stories that deserve attention and deeper discussion and real conversation, and that's exactly what Highlight Africa is all about. Every week, we'll be diving into stories that affect all of us as Africans. And this is where we need you to participate and let us know, as a continent, what can we do? How do we grow as a continent? Join me on Highlight Africa, where Africa's stories take center stage.